Here we are approaching Digital Press Video Game Springfield for the Nava event tonight. More to come.
Digital Press Springfield, one of my favorite game stores in the New Jersey area. Digital Press is, famous as one of the classic video game retro game stores. This was one of the stores that was featured in the Not for Resale movie that is available on Amazon. I recommend that for anybody who likes video games, especially people who like retro video games. Not for Resale is a video or movie that they did a documentary on various retro video game stores, video game aficionados, people in the industry talking about the transition from hard copies of video games, retro games, into the digital age. This was done in about 2014, 2015. So it's still relevant to today, obviously. But one of the stores that was featured in there was the Digital Press game store, but that was Digital Press Clifton, which will come up on another episode of this series. This specific episode is going to be about Digital Press Springfield, New Jersey. Now, this store, just like the Clifton store, they do an event called Nava. Nava is North American Video Game Aficionados. It's a meetup that they have at the first Saturday of every month. This particular episode I filmed at the last Nava, which was actually on an off Saturday because of the New Year's holidays. They had postponed the typical Nava event. So what I did was I went in, I recorded a little bit of footage. I probably could have recorded some more footage of the actual store, which I may do at a later time. But I did a couple interviews with some of my colleagues and buddies in there and let them talk about the store, the scene, and then I'll talk a little bit about what it's like to go to this event and what the retro game scene is like in New Jersey and in this part of New Jersey. And this specific store is a huge contributor to that because they do these events every month, and as you'll see, it is like going to like a mini convention. And imagine getting to do that on a monthly basis rather than waiting for like once a year to go to one big one. So without further ado, we'll start with the first interview. And please feel free to make comments about what you'd like to see in future episodes. There's a lot of arcades and game stores that I have to go to record footage. So if you want to see something different format, etc., please let me know. Like I said, I'm doing this on my own, mainly off my phone. So I'm just going kind of off the cuff as I go into these places. So just let me know what you want to see to get a feel for this scene that I think is pretty special in our area of the country. So we'll get started with this interview.
Give me your first name.
I'm Brian.
It is Brian. Are you sure?
Or you can call me Brian.
Anyway, Brian's actually a legend in Digital Press because this guy has won tournaments at this store and the Clifton store.
Yeah.
So he's in the Digital Press Hall of Fame, actually. But he doesn't do autographs.
The Hall of Fame.
Anyway, so you've been coming to the store for a while. You've been coming to Digital Press for a while in general. Just give me your thoughts on like the Nava events, the stores, the retro game scene in general,
Well, in this store in particular, I've been going to this store since they first opened. I think now we're approaching 5 years now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also around that same time, that's when they started doing their Navas too. So I've been attending their Navas, attempting to attend all their Navas every month. And I've been, having a good time attending these events. Got to meet some people, just socialize with the people that I know here. And also find these like games that I've always wanted to play or games I've just been looking for. Like a store like this, it always gives me back like the days of Funkoland.
Okay.
And it's been a blast. I still enjoy like the digital press at the Clifton store. But I'm loving being here and being around with my friends and all, just getting good vibes from this place.
So now you've also gone to like some of the other, game stores in the area, the arcades in the area.
Yeah.
Would you say like this general region, like 30-mile radius, is just filled with good video game content? Like if you like video games, there's a lot for you, right?
Yes. Now, if I'm in the mood to find like the retro games, I definitely would go to a store like this, because this is where I would find more options and a bigger library of those types of games than anywhere, any other, like a store like GameStop, like, you know, just that.
Okay. All right, awesome. Yeah, so then, and obviously I'm gonna do some footage on Yestercade and some of the other locations. You've been to that as well. And
Yeah.
You can just give
Been
me your
with
thoughts on that. Yeah. Yeah, you kicked my ass at GoldenEye there.
Oh yeah, can't forget that.
So give me your quick thoughts on like those kind of places also around here, the Game Vault, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting that because I remember as a kid, I would go these arcades, like some of these arcades that I used to go to, they're long gone now.
Yep.
But now it's amazing to see these places like resurface. As retro games became, I guess it was because of the retro game scene, like the popularity is why like these, now we're seeing more arcades appearing.
Yep.
So it kind of like brings back the memories of going back to a place where you could just go and play these games, especially particularly like arcade games. So a place like Yestercades is like, oh wow, this place is amazing.
Yep.
Very happy to see a place like that.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you, and
You got it.
Keep having fun at these places.
Yep.
Next, I'm going to show you another clip of another quick interview I did with another colleague of mine. That was Brian. This is going to be Sal coming up. Sal's another guy who I met actually through these events at this specific store. And I've been lucky enough to make some friends through going through this, going to these events. Like I said, I mean, it's one thing that you get out of a more intimate setting with regard to these kind of game stores and these events versus going to a larger convention is that the large conventions, I've met people casually for the moment playing in game tournaments, but I haven't really made any friends there because obviously there's hundreds of people and it's crowded and you're running around, you're doing things. Usually you go with groups of friends, which is awesome. When you go to these smaller events and you meet at meetups at these kind of game stores, you get the intimacy, you get to know people because you go there the first time, then you go there 2 or 3 months in a row, people recognize you, and it's not uncommon for me to be standing around talking about a game and someone overhears and they say, oh, I love that game, and they chime in, or they see you holding a box or a magazine or a toy, or you're in the tournament talking about something and they chime in, and it's just that kind of atmosphere, and it really encourages the social interactions. And I hate to sound like an old guy or whatever, but that is one of the things that I kind of miss out about games, like gaming now versus back then. I love being able to play games online, don't get me wrong. I mean, I play all the modern games online. I'm into Call of Duty and all that, and I love the ability to play online, and I do play online with this group of guys. But I will say it is nice sometimes to be able to meet up and meet people through live gaming and talking and hanging out. I think there's something special to that, just to be able to enjoy and connect with people in that way. And I think that's something that this game scene does in our area, which I'm very thankful for. And I hope that there's scenes like this all over the country. And I'm sure that there are other areas where there happen to be a good amount of game stores or just really good ones. But we're pretty lucky to have what we have here, and that's not lost on me. And that's really the whole purpose of me doing this series. I just want to expose that. So anyway, I'll stop yapping and I'll let you listen to the quick interview I did with my buddy Sal here. So I'm standing here with
Sal,
my buddy Sal.
how's it going, man?
So Sal and I have been hanging out at these events for quite some time. So this is obviously not your first Nava event. Could you talk a little bit about what goes on here, what you like about it, and your experience?
I love the game selection here. I've actually started coming here in 2015. But I discovered the store actually at the tail end of 2013, and in 2015 I was a regular at the Clifton location. I've been coming ever since. I like the variety of games. You have from Atari to today PlayStation 5 to choose from. So yeah.
Awesome. So you mentioned the Clifton store. So now we're actually in Digital Press Springfield. So you go to both events, right? You go to Nava events up there and Nava events here.
Sure do.
Yeah, cool. So you've been doing that for years. Now, do you ever bring games in to like trade with
All
other
the time,
people?
all the time.
Nice.
Well, not to trade with people, but I do do trade-ins here. When it's a game I haven't played for months, and they get traded for something I really want, and
So when I started coming here, I took it as this is almost like a mini game convention.
Yeah.
That happens basically every month. What do you feel about that? Is it to you? Do you get that vibe? Like this is kind of like a mini game convention. People kind of hang
yes,
out.
I do. To a degree, yes, I do. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just awesome to come out. Socialize with your fellow gamers. Share common gaming interests, participate in the tournaments. I could go on and on. So
Yeah, awesome. So now there's a tournament tonight. Tonight's game is South Park on Nintendo 64. I guess you're going to be in there.
Yep, it's been years since I played it, so I'll probably be out the first round. But
I'm going to be in. I'm definitely a first round exit for most of these tournaments, but it's still fun.
As am I.
But yeah, I mean, we met. Full disclosure, through these events.
That's
I guess
right.
at
Yeah,
this one.
I made a lot of good friends here over the years too. Yep.
Yeah, I've been really impressed. I've met a lot of cool guys to this thing. So yeah, well, thank you for actually. And before I let you go, I want to ask you just about the scene in general, right? So there's this store, there's one in Clifton. It's a lot of game stores. Do you feel like this area of New Jersey, like 30, 40 mile radius, when it comes to like video games, you feel like it's plush with like options for like people? If you're coming through this area
Lots of
and
options.
you like games, you got to go to some of these stores.
I highly recommend both locations here. I mean, a lot of variety of games, and it seems like every time I go, regardless of which location, there's always awesome variety of games. Come here to Digital Press if you're into retro games. You want a good variety, just come here. It's an awesome store. You won't be disappointed.
Awesome.
Yep.
And of course, I have to give you
Kick-ass
credit
store,
for Yestercade in Westfield.
Yep.
And I'm going to be doing some, the next time I go there, I'm going to just take some pictures, a little video on that as
Sweet.
well. But same
Nice.
thing, that's a retro arcade that Sal recommended to us, and we all went and had a blast there.
Oh, yeah.
Had a blast.
I could go there every day if I could. So.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, Sal would agree, tons of options in this area for, if you like video games, you got options here.
Yep.
For sure. All right, well, thanks, Sal. Appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
All right, so now that we've gone through some of the interviews, I'll show you a little bit of footage of the store and kind of what it looks like when people are playing. Like I said, this was a slightly off night in terms of attendance, because usually these things are the first Saturday of the month for this store, and for Digital Press Clifton they do the last Saturday of the month, and it's literally all day. It's basically from about 2 in the afternoon until they close the store, which is about 9 o'clock, 9:30. So what people do is they'll bring their games if they want to buy and trade or buy and sell games. You can bring in and sell directly to other customers inside the store, which they allow you to do on this specific day, which is pretty cool. Or obviously you could sell or trade them into the store themselves. But then they have systems set up around the store. There's usually a featured either theme or specific game for the tournament. People sign up and play, and it's a good time. So this was like I said, there's only a couple people playing in the tournament today, in this particular night. I think in total there were about seven people. Usually, I would say it's about 2-3 times this size at these events. So it was a little bit slower night, but I think you still get an idea of what this is all about. So go ahead and play this for you.
So we see a game tournament going on right now. A couple guys playing South Park on N64. Some guys who brought their games in for trade. And playing games.
What's happening?
Full disclosure, this is an off Saturday. Usually these events are in this store happen on the first Saturday of the month, and the other store they do the last Saturday. So this is a changed date, which may explain why there's slightly less people here than would normally be. See inside the store, Nintendo 64. We're gonna set up here for a game tournament that's gonna be happening. Xbox One setup, display case. They always put out a couple other systems. What we have here is a little game exchange area. People can come into the store and Nava events, bring in their games, and buy and sell directly to each other, which is pretty cool. And this, by square footage, is actually apparently the biggest retro video game store in the whole state of New Jersey now. This used to be about half this size, and they bought out this store next door. You see the store has pretty much everything. Lots of equipment and stuff. It's pretty cool.
So on the right side of your screen, you're going to notice that there's some imagery of magazines. So it's another kind of cool thing about these retro game stores is that similar to going to a convention, you know, there's a plentiful supply of other things other than just the games themselves. Now I know it's all about the games, and you know, it's all about the game, how you play it. Yeah, I'm Triple H fan. For all you wrestling heads out there. But, you know, it's not just about games, it's about magazines and other toys related to the games and the clothes and some of the other, you know, accessories like, you know, the guns or controllers or memory cards, whatever. It's just really, really cool to have access to equipment and things that really supported the whole video game experience from even 20, 30, 40 years ago. I mean, that is very cool. Like this store, like a lot of these stores, but this store has a good supply of like older magazines. So you can see here there's Zelda and Pokemon. You can see Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It's cool to walk in and to have access to that stuff. I have to point out also that there is there are some like demo discs there as well. So if you remember the jam packs, I was a big fan of those back in the day for the PlayStation. I used to subscribe to PlayStation Underground just so I could get the jam pack. You know, they have that, and I think the jam packs they stopped on the PlayStation 2. But they have jam pack for PlayStation 2 in here. There's jam packs for PlayStation 1. There's the old magazines. I'm actually going to show you. These were two of my favorites that I discovered at the store the other day. And I'm not sure. I think they must have just come in because I don't remember seeing them before. On the left-hand side, a Nintendo Power for WCW versus NWO. Very, very cool to see that. You know, I'm a big wrestling fan. So, you know, really the nostalgia hits me very hard when I walk into a store and I see this. So, very powerful for me. And then on the right, GoldenEye 007. Of course, another, you know, when I think of the Nintendo 64, for me, I mean, I know it's different for different people. But for somebody like me, what I like, when I think of the Nintendo 64, and the reason I still have one hooked up, and it's right in front of me on my secondary television, you know, when I think of the Nintendo 64, it's GoldenEye 007, it's the wrestling games, and that includes WWF No Mercy, WWF WrestleMania 2000, WCW NWO Revenge, WCW versus NWO World Tour. And, you know, I'll throw Mayhem in there, even though, you know, not as much. We can all talk about Mario, and, you know, for me, and Mario still lives through the Nintendo Switch, but all of these games I just listed, the GoldenEyes and the wrestling games, those all ended in the Nintendo 64 era. Okay? You can't play these games. I know you can play GoldenEye on the Wii, and GoldenEye's coming back soon, but the wrestling games and the original GoldenEye, at this moment, it's all about the Nintendo 64. Being able to play multiplayer with the 4 slots, split screen with your friends on the couch, or playing multiplayer, the wrestling games. I was in a WWF No Mercy tournament at one of the wrestling game cons I went to in Connecticut. This would have been last fall. And, you know, it was a ton of fun. So, you know, it's just really cool to be able to kind of let the nostalgia hit you when you see these old magazines and there's like tips. It's like you just bought the game again. It's 1995 or 1998 or whatever. Very, very cool to go through that. And there's a variety. It's not just these kind of games. It's whatever you like. If you're into RPGs, whatever. This is the power of these game stores and what they mean to me and what they mean to a lot of people. But we're blessed to have this. Again, this is Digital Press Springfield, located in Springfield, New Jersey. We're one of the 2 Digital Press locations, and because this is a place that I frequent, especially for Nava events, I just wanted to give them a shout out and thanks again to Leo and all the great staff there at Digital Press Springfield. All my buddies there. I really appreciate, so it's been a pleasure getting to know you guys. They do a great job. And, if you want to buy a system or games, it's just, one of the places I would definitely recommend. I actually bought my Xbox 360, which I've recorded videos on plenty of games on this channel for. I bought my Xbox 360 there, and I've had no problems with it, along with controllers and everything. So, please give them a shout or go by and take a look. Like I said, I think I put this in the video. They are actually the largest retro game store by square footage in all of New Jersey at this point, according to the owner, and that is because they actually bought the store next door. So the store is literally twice the size that it was about a year ago. So it's pretty cool. So that's why doing events like this at their place is pretty easy to do and a lot of fun, and very appreciative of them and of the whole scene. So this was episode 1 of this retro game scene collaborative here, or series that I'm going to be doing on the New Jersey area. It's going to include game stores. It's going to include arcades and any meetups that occur over the time that I'm doing this series. So looking forward to it, and we'll definitely get another video out on the next store. I don't know which store that'll be, but I'll definitely keep you posted and do updates on my YouTube channel, which obviously you're watching this on, and we'll go from there. But thanks, guys, and please leave a comment. And let me know what what else you'd like to see in these videos. If you want to see more footage of the store, I do think I should have shown you more. They have plenty of stuff in there, PlayStation and Sega and all that stuff. So let me know what else you'd like to see, and also if you'd like me to do a focus on just the stores themselves. I think that some of the other stores I go to will be focused on the actual stores themselves and not just the events, because not all the stores do these events. So it won't be about a meetup. It'll be about the store and kind of what it's like to go there. But all the stores are fun places to just hang out and talk games. And usually the people that work there are very friendly and knowledgeable. And certainly Digital Press Springfield is a great example of that. They have exemplary service and great people there. So anyway, thank you very much. Continue to do this, and looking forward to having some more fun. And keep having fun with me in the Corner Arcade.